Oh my god. TANGTANG's Terran?
I was just to check that. Yeah, yeah,
Is this... Is he he's not always been Terran, has he?
yeah.
Okay, I'm ridiculous. For some reason, I thought TANGTANG was Zerg. Like 100%.
I for the life of me couldn't remember it being Terran. Like I didn't know about Zerg, but
Well, you know what? It doesn't matter, because it means it's not ZvT.
well, great.
And I'm okay with that. So, ladies and gentlemen, kicking off this first semifinals match. Gotta give a shout out to Eadway, by the way, for the resub. In the bottom left side of Arena, we've got the red Terran TANGTANG.
The top left as the blue Zerg. It is Psystorm Gaming's True.
Okay, so this is a little bit weird. Ignoring for a moment the fact that I didn't know TANGTANG's race, we've been seeing TANGTANG play consistently in a lot of our European Cups, and we never get a chance to cast him, which attributes why we don't know his race, because he's been losing the European Cups fairly early to foreigners. So maybe that's the Europe-Korea ping dynamic. Maybe it's the times being so much later in Korea, not playing to his, his fatigue, but.
Yeah.
We don't get to see TANGTANG because he does get knocked out early of foreigner events. I am truly curious to see how he handles here versus True. It is worth noting that TANGTANG only had to play like 1 or 2 matches today. In fact, 1 match period, as he got walkovers all over. What? Horror won his first series 2-0 and then forfeited? Why? What? So yeah, TANGTANG got he got a walkover into a 2-0 versus Demilove. And that's what he's played today. So we really don't know where he's sitting as far as good versus bad.
So I guess that's why I thought he was or a Protoss. I was more like, oh, okay, I think he's maybe Protoss, but I wasn't sure, so I just never said anything. Was because he has been playing with Super and Tails and whatnot in those European Cups, and I just started clumping all of them together as the Protosses, because all the rest of them were Protosses. So they're just entirely wrong with this guy. I mean, this guy technically is retired, by the way. So just, StarCraft 2 retired, which is, if I play the game, then I'm going to play the game. Just at a more casual level. Used to be on Prime, God.
Oh, no, that's
like
not something.
A year ago?
I feel like at this point, that's not something you want on your record. Like, and
not being even, on Prime?
Not even because of the match fixing, but just because of the very poor record which may have been a result of match fixing, but still.
This is how you put it on your resume, right? Like, to make your job look really bad or to make it look really good. There's like a Reddit thread a couple days ago. It's like, okay, first I was on a team that was known for match fixing. That's the bad one to put on your resume. The good one is I was in a company that I calmly, what's the word? I calmly came out of with nothing on my record while everyone else did.
No, okay, I don't know what you're talking about. It's like the bus driver, right? Who's like, oh, I drive a $360,000 company car with a corner office. I'm a bus driver. Is that the one you're referring to?
Yes, there are some pretty good ones in there.
For this one, I'd just be like, I was on a team that worked with hundreds and thousands of dollars on a regular basis, and I left of my own merits or something like that. Like, I don't know. Like, there's just no good way to phrase the way Prime went. But again, for me, it's less about the match fix. It's just more about the really poor record that they held for such a long time.
Yeah, there's no, there's no record to really even look up for TANGTANG, unfortunately. If I was going to be like, well, he had a very notable game against blank or blank. I mean, I guess Chad says he played against, Haas, and yeah, not much, so. But it's definitely good to see Terrans being Olimoleague again, even if we don't think he's going to be winning against True. I mean, that's at least my thoughts, and I think you'd agree. True is such a beast.
Well, so I would normally agree, but True is... it's weird. Like, I think waiting for his visa, he spent a lot of time not doing anything because he didn't want to commit, and he couldn't commit to a lot of events, again, on hinging on that visa. So he's not been playing it much recently. We've seen him play some Archon mode on ladder with Crank and here and there, but I actually don't know if True's rusty or not. And I actually mean that as like a very important statement. Like, I don't think he's going to walk over TANGTANG, but he's still definitely the better player in my eyes, just on past results.
I'm going to go with a 2 over True still. I think he still looks powerful enough, and TANGTANG just doesn't look powerful enough. If he has to go versus Soulkey or Reality at this point, because I think Reality's going to win against Pet, I would maybe then be like, okay, is he a little out of practice? Is he a little because then I would give it to Reality and Soulkey. Soulkey plays in every Korean Cup. I think he's tried to sign up once or twice, but hasn't actually stayed up for the European Cups. Um, and well, reality has just actually been doing pretty well. So we'll see, though. It is Arena as the starter map for the semifinals. The starter map for the finals is Frozen Temple. And that this can create like an odd game. It can create some abusive situations for both players. Neither of them went for it though. We have TANGTANG not going for a tank push or anything like that. He just went for a very odd drop, like not even standard. It was one medevac full and then a Hellion.
Right, but he gets in with it, and that's the important part. And now Lings are going to get us around. He should be able to pick up and get out of there. Thought he was a little bit better off on the left side where he initially dropped, but I guess worried about Bailey's walking up to his face. Decides to pick up and move away. The Hellion, of course, is just left over from that initial push. It's like the only survivor, so just adding whatever he can for damage into the army. Bailey's do eat up that Hellion, though. Medevac's getting really low. Gets sniped. Oh, it's one with all the units in it, too.
I think he just assumed the Queens wouldn't be able to catch up because there was a little bit of space in the top. That's too bad. But TANGTANG, there is the tank push I was expecting, but only one tank right now. There's a second tank.
Well, you know, another problem is with that medevac going down, he doesn't have it to shuffle around the tanks as easily.
You know what's interesting, though, is that True, he didn't start off with a 2-base Spire. He didn't go for Roaches. He's actually still only on Ling Bling Muta. Or Ling Bling, sorry, not even Muta.
Okay, so he almost trapped his Marines in this with that tank. This choke going to be so devastating. The tank goes down immediately. Tank on the right side not even picked up. The Marines are split, and that's kind of cool, but this isn't where the focus needed to be. He had to keep those tanks alive.
Yeah. Well, it looked like it might have been a really good engagement because the Banelings were all clumped up. They seemed like easy shots for the tanks, and instead it made it look easy. He just had so much to throw into it because he didn't go for a Spire, because he got away with a pretty greedy build early on at 57 drones and a 4th base on the way. I mean, if this was a macro game, you know, this would be like an all-in for True, and an old-fashioned one at that, just pure lane Baneling with 1-1. But it was very effective against TANGTANG's own push. You know, he sacrificed a 3rd CC to do this, and doesn't really want to get a 3rd CC. He wants to win with this.
Well, knocked down the rocks over here. The one thing really stopping True from being able to take any sort of fight was that choke. I mean, his upgrades are certainly going to be a good advantage. He's lost the difference of his opponent not having combat shields, as it did have a chance to finish out. But again, 1-1 Lings are certainly something powerful to consider when your opponent doesn't have armor whatsoever. So
I'm pretty good for True in this game. But it's not over yet. The armor supplies are still even. In fact, TANGTANG now just kind of catching up. He's going for a drop in the main base, which has not been scouted until now. This Overlord. True's army is entirely out of position. The tanks covering the ramp could have been really abusive, but once again, not target firing the Banelings. There we go.
Marines did get picked up, though, and rained upon the few Lings remaining. Now, True didn't bring everything back home to defend this. I think he thought he'd have it with what was available. Since the rest of the Lings for the counterattack, they tear through that bunker really quick. Again, that +1 weapon's really helping out. The Marines should be able to clean this up. A couple SCVs actually holding the Lings in place. Yeah, never have I ever.
Yeah, that was so weird. Very odd. But there are still Banelings over for True. They're going to try and get blast hits. They get some pretty decent ones. The medevac goes down again. Oh, I've been very unlucky with those.
You know, TANGTANG has been actually in some pretty advantageous positions in the last minute, but giving them all away, both home and at True's base. Creeps right now right up in TANGTANG's base, by the way. No wall off, no bunker, nothing to defend with, just a small amount of Marines in production. Tank here up on the high ground, but he might be better off just picking up the SCVs and the medevacs and trying to keep them alive.
Yeah, that probably would have been better, but they all go down anyway. And True is in a pretty great position. Now, he did lose his Bailey Nest, apparently. I guess that's what happened with the drop in the main base. So they only just finished if you wanted to try and collide in with more Banelings. It might be better to just macro right now, but I think either way, True has a solid chance of winning, just continuing to all in or going for a Spire and whatnot.
Banelings are popping. New ones, of course, morphing directly on the front line. A little bit scary to see, but that creep spread being here gives a little bit more speed to these. Focus fire's not bad from the tanks. They do take out a good chunk of the Banelings, but they still focus a lot to just roll in. But True, at no point does he go for the mineral lines. He keeps trading up for Marines, which is not a terrible way to play, but it's not getting him ahead in this game. 2-2 is going to finish, though, and that's certainly going to be really nice for these Lings to keep fighting the Marines with. Again, another medevac full almost goes down. That would have been 3 this game.
Yeah. That was so bad. 2-2 Ling Bane Lane cannot be underestimated, and with the lack of tanks now, he's got like really great splits. But the problem with splitting is in the updated Lings are now the most effective, so it's a kind of a lose scenario for TANGTANG. He needs that splash. The creep, by the way, as the queens have been on the front line for some time, has also gotten like really out of control. So usually at a certain point, a Terran just lifts his main CC and then goes to the third. Not going to be a possibility soon.
No, not at all with the creep spread, especially. Bailey's and Zergling's just overwhelming at this point, though. And finally, True will be able to get to that mineral line and start attacking some of those SCVs. GG. True will take the first game in the best of 3. Again, quick reminder though, this is the semifinals. We're going to move on to the grand finals for the Olimoleague. But top 4 people in each Olimoleague earn cash. $25 for whoever loses this and is knocked out here. So not too bad.
Dusk Towers.
What a surprise.
I know.
In the meantime, while we're getting this lobby set up, I would like to give a shout out to OnlyWatch. I'm just going to bring this up on stream really quick while we're waiting. This is something that we've got coming up on April 7th. It's going to be our first Overwatch tournament. I'm actually pretty excited for it. And we got an awesome prize pool available. It's going to be up to $510, and we're going to be trying to get as high as humanly possible. If you guys want to do us a favor really quick, though, pop on over to the Match Arena page. Paste this in chat in a moment, but if you want to just click sign in with your Twitch account really quick, it doesn't collect any personal data. It's just as if you're signing into Twitch alerts or anything else. It's just to connect your Twitch account up with what's going on. Mine's not for some reason, so once you do, you would hit donate, another pop-up would come up, and you would type in only watch, and that would set things up. But Match Arena might not be working right now, actually.
Possible.
So if you guys are watching the VOD of this, consider doing this. But it'll add $1 to the prize pool. We're already up to like 100 and something bucks, which is pretty cool to see. I also bring this up because tomorrow we've got the Match Arena Cup number 3, which should be pretty fun. So had some
incoming transmission.
Did you start without me?
Oh, did I?
Yes,
Wait,
you did.
Who's the third person?
That's a really good question, but I'm not in there, so we're gonna have to hope these guys take the hint when you leave.
Oh, TATV must have just joined off me. I thought they were still casting the other thing. I counted 3 people and I was like, okay.
Okay, well, anyways, getting that remade. Bringing this up because Match Arena is happening tomorrow, but also, let's not forget, after this cast is done today, you'll have a little bit more action on BaseTradeTV as Man, I think my computer is dying or overheating or something. Lots of stuff starting to get really sluggish, guys. But let's not forget that despite the fact my camera appears to be desynced, we have some pretty cool stuff coming up later this morning with the Cheers for Gaming Cup. Fear Dragon's actually going to be casting that in about 2.5 hours from now. So that'll be awesome to see. Make sure you guys stick around for that.
And now we're good.
Now we're good, yeah. So Dusk Towers, we'll see you guys in a moment. All right, we're back. Game number 2 here in the semifinals currently underway. Spawning in the top right side of Dusk Towers. It is going to be Psystorm Gaming's True, who's currently up 1-0.
In the bottom left, as the red Terran, it's TANGTANG.
All right, so TANGTANG, I feel like that was that was like Lemony Snicket's tale of unfortunate events, right? Like he kept losing medevacs full of units. That sucked. He had a couple of pretty good spots to take a fight, but then like really didn't. And it's hard to say he really choked, but this really does drive home a point I brought up with True, where True definitely looked pretty rusty. He had all of these huge advantages, picking off medevacs left and right. He had creeps spread out the wazoo, and he still didn't easily close out that game. Now, that's not to say I think True's bad. I don't think he's bad. There's almost never a point I think True could ever hit in his career where I'd be like, what a bad player. But that was certainly, to me, not the True we were used to watching, say, like a month and a half, 2 months ago, right?
Perhaps. A lot of it does come down to the choices of builds and compositions, I guess. Because, I mean, the fact that you go from Baneling on Arena is already a little curious. The stay on it for an all-in, that's pretty old-fashioned, is just also pretty curious. Like, it's it felt like more to me that Shrew doesn't take TANGTANG seriously. And after that first engagement went so well, or heck, even after the first medevac went down, she was like, "Oh, I'll win this." And you know, if it was against Reality, who we might be playing, then maybe he would have been a little more hesitant and like, okay, maybe I should just throw away Banelings and like let's back her out of this.
Oh shit! We got a donation, by the way. I'm not sure why it didn't pop up from Firelicious. So I don't know when that came in, but apparently, many things are broken. Fire Illis? I thought it was Firelicious. My bad. Fire Illis? $50 friggin' dollars.
Oh,
Says ZvZ and enemy creep allows you to run faster. Why? And why can't a CC crush a Zergling when landing? I understand they can't crush an Ultralisk. And by the way, no nerf? Sad face. Zerg should always be nerfed. So I'm planning to bring back the nerf char. They still haven't patched anything technically yet. They will be soon. Basically, I asked a friend, and perhaps this is the mistake. I asked a friend, I said, no rush, but can we get a commission on this? And they said yes, and then still haven't done it. So I'm going to just bring back the little cutesy, shitty clip art nerf jar I had before. Because it was fun having the nerf jar on stream. But basically, Fireless says, $50 nerf Zerg. And I don't know, man. I'm kind of with you on this one.
well, Zerg just gotta stop appearing in so many tournaments.
I mean,
stop.
Like, I really don't think both Protoss and Terran just suddenly phenomenally became terrible at the game, but you're right. Like, it is in a lot of these cups that we're hosting, whether it's Korea, Europe, or you name it, it is a lot of Zerg, and some more Zerg.
Yeah, I don't know what happened in the Olimoleague. It just has gone downhill.
Well, I assumed a lot of it had to do with, like, originally it was it Pro League and SSL and all these other things started coming up, so we expected to lose some of our regulars and see less involvement from, obviously, Reality and some of the guys on Kesma teams.
So the real trick is that Zerg is so underpowered that they're not being played in these tournaments, and that's why they're here.
Definitely not the case.
Really? I don't know. I heard Protoss won a tournament once. They looked pretty OP, okay?
I guess you've been hanging around Scarlet for some time.
Yeah, she is pretty biased.
You say biased, I thought you were going to go for butthurt, and I think more aptly describes the matchup. But we got Barracks coming out the wazoo, TANGTANG's production getting slapped down, Stim's coming out. We'll see if he goes for that push or not, but this is kind of looking like I don't want a third CC starter pack.
Where's the finisher pack? Where's like the intermediate pack?
Now, have you seen those things where it's like the Dad at the Beach starter pack, and it's like a picture of like sandals and socks?
I see all the cat lady starter packs.
Yeah, of course you would. It's like all over your bedroom. This Liberator's finding a bit of a funky spot to come in. I gotta tell you, by the way, that nerf to the radius looks so stupid to me. What they want to do with the proposed change.
I mean, I guess I've always been confused as to what they think the problem is for Liberators. Whether it's this nerf or the time before they're thinking about nerfing them. Like, do they think that it's a problem with harassment like this? Or do they think it's a problem with, like, Protoss late game? Because sometimes it just feels like they hear, okay, Liberators are having some trouble with Liberators, and they're like, well, this will fix everything. And I like, harassment certainly isn't that much of a problem.
I truly wonder what... Like, the Liberators had a lot of problems, and it's broken the game and put professional players on tilt, right? I do wonder how much worse would an alternate reality have been where we had the Herc instead of the Liberator.
Man, I really wonder what you could have done with the Herc. Like,
I think like a million times more fun things. Because that grappling hook...
Really?
Like, I don't care for the splash damage. They didn't need a splash damage upgrade. I think making them more tanky, beefy units for Terran could have been cool, whatever. But the grappling hook made it fun and awesome and hilarious.
The problem was that the grappling hook would never be realistically used in large-scale scenario. Like, at best, they would be like Hellions, like 6 Hercs, and that was kind of the amount you could use the grapple with. Anything more, and it's trying to Reaper Grenade mass Banelings. Like, it's a cool idea, but it doesn't ever really happen.
Well, we'd never know. It's unfortunately a series of what ifs. Now, the lanes are going to get across, and TANGTANG's depots are down. This is a bit of a mistake, so we can hop on top of the reinforcements immediately. No tech to really pick off here. So it's not combat shields, but instead concussive grenades. Again, TANGTANG wasn't planning for a third CC, guys. Really wanted to get this damage in. And with +1 on the way, or sorry, finished, excuse me, and 1-1 about to finish, you won't have an upgrade lead. But the Baneleys do lack speed.
Yeah, that's true. They will have 1-1 though, and he still have Hellbats despite getting an armory. The Lings still aren't cleaned up, so he's continuing to lose out in reinforcements. This is really it for his attack, and I think there's enough Banelings.
There should be, as long as they're used. Yeah, I like these splits so it doesn't like run them all in haphazardly. Of course, you don't want to waste them on the Marauders, so that A move can be dangerous. You want to hit those Marines. Now he's got the fight on creep, which is kind of nice, but that Baneling speed, researching just now, looks like the Lings finally get cleaned up on the other side of the map. But again, True is very, we'll say, conservative with his Baneling use, so he's still got a lot to work with. Kills a lot of the Marines. Now this stuff, I feel the drone's getting pulled away. The drone's gonna kill this.
Oh. Yeah, he doesn't really have to lose the Spire.
Yeah,
but I guess, you know, arguing that maybe you don't necessarily need it, a Ling Flood should be able to take care of TANGTANG's reinforcements, and TANGTANG was pretty all in with this. He's down in supply, he's down in workers. It's not looking so good.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's all the units going away. A big part of this that really hurt TANGTANG, like actually his attack wasn't bad. Like if we can be completely honest, his attack was pretty well timed. It was scary. It was on the brink of maybe doing something good. But the Lings cutting off all those reinforcements, no rally, that was what killed that. GG gets called. So congratulations to True, who will now move on to the finals. Looks like Reality did defeat Pet. Thank you, Base God Reality, for giving us a really sick semifinals next, as we got Reality versus Sulky coming up now.
Cool.
I would like to point out how perfectly timed this ended up going. But okay, we're going to go to a small break, guys. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you in 2 minutes with the other semifinals, Sulky versus Reality, TVZ, when we return.